I'm running. All right, so basically, I'm gonna start off by saying Happy New Year. I'm about to make me a little drink. It's the first, January 1st. We celebrated last night. But basically, this episode right here, we decided to come up with we decided to come together and do a podcast.
So if you're seeing our page, this is our joint page for our joint podcast.
Yeah, so this first episode, we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna make me a drink while we sitting here doing this episode. This first episode is the introductory episode to the podcast. Basically, the podcast is gonna be about everything, but we're gonna do a lot of rating things, such as like restaurants, because we go out to eat a lot. We go to restaurants, we go to different hotels. We try to travel as much as we can, and basically, we got to the point that we decided to, let's come together and do a podcast and talk about some of these places and that we go to, and so we can give our view and take on some of these places in case other people might want to go to it and check it out. You know what I'm saying? You can come check out our page and see if we've been there, and we'll give you the whole rundown of what we thought about it. You know what I'm saying? And then actually rate them. You know what I'm saying? Whether we like them or don't like them, what's better than the other, X, Y, Z. But we do a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stories and that we're going to get to. But this first episode, we're going to talk about us and how we got to this point to doing this podcast. So basically, we're going to talk about when we first met. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
You want me to go? You can start. However you want to do it.
So we first met July 4th, 2021. And it was kind of funny. I like from the first time that we actually started talking to each other, I was kind of telling him it was serendipitous how we met, because neither one of us was actually supposed to be where we were when we met each other. I was home alone. I have kids. My kids, they had just left for the summer with their dad. So this was going to be my first summer without my kids, and I was in the house and not doing anything, didn't have any plans. Actually, I did have some plans. I was supposed to go out towards Baltimore to hang out with my friend Erica, but I just didn't feel like it. So I was just kind of like, girl, I'm not really feeling up to it. I'm gonna just stay in the house. And then my friend Itunu ended up asking me if I wanted to go with her to her brother's fiance's birthday. And I didn't want to do that either. So I said no. I was going to be in house. Really, Itunu asked me first to go to the birthday, and I told her no. And then I was going to because I was going to go out towards Baltimore to see Erica. But then I decided I didn't feel like doing all that driving. So then I canceled on Erica and then told Itunu I'll go. So we ended up going out to DC. We went to Ocean Air for her birthday. And then afterwards we went out to Felicity, this bar on H Street. I hate Felicity. I hate it there. The people there are not people that I will date. Like my best friend, her brother, it was his fiance's birthday dinner. So after that, we went to Felicity. He used to host stuff there. So everybody who was there were people that he knew. I'm not about to date or try to talk to these people that know my best friend's brother, who's practically like my big brother. It just wasn't my style either. It wasn't my style. I literally put on this long ankle length red skirt and a black tank top and some heels, because I was just like, I'm going to be cute, but I'm not trying to be attracting anybody. I was teacher cute. So, we went out, and I was getting late and I was getting tired, and they playing all these songs that I don't like, can't dance to, because it's a whole bunch of rap songs that you can't dance to. That Meek Mill song where everybody stand up on the couch and start acting like they just got out of jail themselves. And, so I was it was late. I was getting tired. So I got up and went to the bathroom. So I come back and I see somebody taking pictures with my friend. And I'm like, I can't leave her ass alone for no reason. I can't leave her ass alone for nothing. And so I'm like, all right, well, let me just grab my purse so it's not in a photo. I go to reach for my purse, and Wes is the one taking a picture. And he's like, oh, excuse me, you in the way. I said, oh, my bad. I was just trying to grab my purse or whatever. And then we just start having a regular conversation. A regular conversation. When I asked him his name, he didn't give me no crazy nickname. He had a normal name, David, which was really a surprise. He could speak clearly. He was just a normal person. I thought he might have been kind of young, but he was a normal person. And we were just talking. I told him where I was from. He knew, because I'm not from, I live in Maryland. I'm not from Maryland. I'm not from this area. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, right outside Pittsburgh, this small town called Aliquippa. And he asked me where I was from, and I said Pittsburgh, and he just kind of like had all of this little knowledge about Pittsburgh. And I was just like, well, actually, I'm from this place called Aliquippa. And he knew about that too. I was very surprised. And, we were just sitting there talking, just socializing. And then he was just like, then he just kind of looked at me like he wasn't really looking at me. And all of a sudden he decided to look at me. He was like, oh, you cute. Like, he looked at me like he was like, oh, you cute. And then he was like, oh, man, you should let me take you out sometime. And then I had to look at him. I was just like, all right, now, how old are you? How old were you then? 40? 39? He was 39. He wasn't 40 yet. You just turned 40. You was about to turn 40. So he was like, I'm 39. I said, oh, okay. Are you single? Yeah, I'm single. Okay. Are there any people out here in these streets who think they might be in a relationship with you? And he was just like, nah, ain't nobody. I said, okay, is there anybody out here who might have their feelings hurt if they found out that you gave me your phone number and you was asking for mine? And he was honest. He was like, yeah, but that's her problem because we ain't in a relationship. And I was like, that's true. That's true. Like, that's true. So we exchanged phone numbers because I thought he was cute. He was cute. He had on this red hat and this white shirt with like red writing on it. Red is my favorite color. He looks really good in red. And I was just kind of like, yeah, you got my number. So, and that was it. And then he was checking on me for the rest of the night because I was talking about I was ready to go. And then the next day he was texting me the whole day, which was, well, we met 4th of July, but the night leading into 4th of July. So then when the sun came up, that was the official 4th of July. And, I was at one of those daytime brunch clubs. Brooklyn, yeah. Brooklyn. I was at Brooklyn, and he was messaging me the whole time. It was real nice. He was telling me how he lived right down the street. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh, this is a nice neighborhood. Well, he got some money. He lived over here. He must live with his mom. I was thinking that he lived with his mom. If he lived over there, I was like, oh, he must live with his mom, or like he must live like with his grandma or something. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that he did not, live with anybody, which was really nice. However, considering the area, I was just like, oh, this nigga ain't living. He don't live by himself. He lived with somebody. So I was just kind of like, but he was cool. And it had been a very long time since I met someone that I could just have a conversation with, and it was nice and normal, and he was just friendly and just a normal guy, and it was really nice. And that's my side of how we met.
All right,
Did I leave out anything?
No, not really. I mean, so my side, basically, it just leads up to when we met. So what I was doing that day, I don't really think I had too much planned earlier that day because, like she said, it was the 3rd of July, but when we met, it was the 4th of July because we met in the club, and it was after midnight. So I don't think I had too much planned that day, but I know that it was like. Shane, my best friend, was his birthday weekend. His birthday on June 29th. So it might have been during the middle of the week or some shit like that. And so when the weekend hit, you know, I was hitting him up trying to see if he was trying to go out and do something, party a little bit for his birthday. You know what I'm saying? Since his birthday was during the middle of the week. So he was down. Shane always down to party. He always down. If he free, he ain't got nothing going on. He always down to get out and about. So he was with it. You know what I'm saying? I ended up at my mom's house that night for some reason. I ended up at her house. I know why. I think I went over there because I got one of those 360 cameras, and my mom was having a 4th of July party.
That
so
was the next day.
I know, but I took it over there.
Oh.
That's why I was at my mom's house, because I took it over there, so I can already have it over there. And so I was over there. When I took it over there, I was just chilling, waiting to hear from Shane. And Shane hit me up probably about 9, 10 o'clock that night. And he was like, man, you know, where you at? Let's link up, XYZ. So we were supposed to go to the Aqua Club on Saturday to see Essence, I think. It's one of them bands was playing up there. So we drove up there. And the reason we ain't end up going in there was because traffic, the parking was fucked up. Parking was bad. You know what I'm saying? It was nowhere to park. That's the only reason why we ain't going there, because it was nowhere to park. Me and him met up in that gas station, the Exxon. If anybody familiar with the Aqua Lounge or Aqua Club, whatever it's called, but the Aqua on New York Avenue, you got that Exxon at the intersection of New York Avenue and Bladensburg. So we met up at that Exxon, like, damn, ain't nowhere to park. Let's go somewhere else. We trying to figure out where to go. We coming up with ideas. And eventually, I think Shane was like, man, just follow me. We're going to go down 8th Street. So I followed him. We went down 8th Street on the northeast side. So we ended up finding a parking spot. I'm not even sure if I knew we was going to Felicity's. He might have just picked the club and I'm just following him. I don't know. He might have said what the club was. If he said it, I ain't know what it was. I had never been in there before. But regardless, this birthday weekend, I'm just following him. So we go down there. We probably get in the joint probably around 11, I'm assuming. I don't know. It's probably about 11 something at night, I'm assuming. I don't know. So we park. We go up in the joint. And we basically chilling because we know a couple people up in there. But for the most part, we in that joint chilling, drinking, listening to the music, sitting at the bar. A couple people that I know, we knew people that was in there already, a couple people, but a couple more people that I know that Shane didn't know end up scrolling in there, whatever, kicking up with them at the bar, da-da-da.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I know?
Almost said, nah, you don't know. Oh. No. But I'm in the joint chilling. So we kicking it. Shane in the joint. He found his way to get a champagne bottle. Shane always find a way to do some shit. He got him a bottle of champagne, Moet, da-da-da. So he in the joint running wild around, drinking, kicking it with people, da-da-da-da-da. So pretty much by the end of the night, we about ready to roll. But I'm in there taking pictures, da-da-da. I'm taking pictures, and when I'm trying to take a picture, somebody walk in front of the camera, right? So I got my phone out. I'm like this, about to take a picture, right? And somebody just walked right in front of, not facing me though. Their back was towards me, so I had to tap her. I was like, yeah, excuse me, I'm trying to take this picture, da-da-da, and she was like, oh, my bad, moved out of the way, right? So it ended up being Riri. Named Rhea, but I call her Riri. I got everybody on my end calling her Riri too. So once she got out of the way, I took the picture, and then we just kind of was just standing beside each other. You know what I'm saying? Shane running around talking to people and this and that and the other. He talking to people, and while he running around, me and her just kind of standing there beside each other because she waiting for a friend. I think they was about to leave, right?
I was trying to leave.
Oh, you okay? You was trying to leave.
I was trying to leave.
Yeah, and looking back, me knowing you, well, I know you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know her mood and looking back, yeah, I know what she do when she ready to go. She come stare you in your face and just look at you like it's time to go.
Like,
so
I'm ready.
Yeah. So while she waiting for a friend, I'm sitting there chilling, waiting for Shane. He doing his thing. And I just made like simple conversation. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, it's my man's birthday, da da da. Then you just came from a birthday party. I think that's what you said at the Ocean
there for Zalika's birthday.
Yeah. So all in all, that's how we kind of met. Like she told the story how we kind of, introduced each other. Well, ourselves to together. But we what kind of reeled me into her, because like I said, I wasn't there on no trying to meet no girl shit or anything like that. I was just out having fun. There's a point in my life I'm just having fun, kicking it.
And I most definitely wasn't out there trying to, because there's a certain way that girls dress when they're trying to attract, attention. And I wasn't trying to attract any attention. And this is when I was skinny before he made me fat too. So I was cute and I could have worn whatever I wanted. But I just wasn't, I don't know. Like when I was going out, especially to some fucking Felicities, I was dressing to be as inconspicuous as possible. If it wasn't for the fact, I wouldn't even have had on a dress. That's a lie. I still would have had on a dress. But I had on heels and stuff simply because I was at that birthday party. And then Felicities was like a last minute, we done eaten, let's all go to this, let's go to the spot.
Yeah, so we were just having a conversation. The thing about her that kind of reeled me in, because like I said, I wasn't really, when I was talking to her, it wasn't really no move, because I made conversation first, because we were standing beside each other. But it wasn't like no move for me to try to get to know her or nothing. I was just being cordial, because we just standing there, right?
Gosh.
And what she did. What is too strong?
No, the bubbles got in my nose. The bubbles got in my nose.
Well, what we did was when we was talking, what kind of attracted me to her, that caught my attention anyway. First thing that caught my attention was when I said something to her, she kind of, she spoke back. She was real inviting. You know what I'm saying? She was real inviting and sociable and cordial, which is not always something that you find in this area, in the DC area with women. You know what I'm saying? A lot of DC chicks, you try to talk to them in the club, a lot of them standoffish, and they probably got their reasons. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. They standoffish. They act like, if you try to talk to them, sometimes they look at you like you weird because they don't know you and this and that. They just be funny style. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really expect her to be that sociable as she was when I spoke to her. Like she was like real engaging. So it was just like one thing, like every time I asked a question or made a statement or something, she had to come back. Like she had something to follow it up, to keep the conversation going. So that caught my attention. And then that's when I think I ended up asking you first. That's when I asked her where she was from and all of that. And she told me she was from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh.
You like the way I sound.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I said?
Yeah, you said something about like, you don't sound like you from here. You sound different.
Because she got a little accent. To me, she do. So she told me she was from Pittsburgh. And the thing that caught my attention about that was that I just watched this movie called The Current War. And it was about Westinghouse and what's the dude?
Tesla?
No, it wasn't Tesla.
The one that with the key and the lightning bolt?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Westinghouse and the dude that gave us electricity.
Edison.
Thomas Edison. Yeah. Westinghouse and Edison. And it was like it was a war. It was like a race to see who was going to kind of light the city up. Because they both was kind of in dealing with electricity and trying to provide, the city with electricity and give lights, put lights in people's houses and stuff like that. And because it wasn't, electricity wasn't really controlled yet at that time, back in the 1800s. So they had a race to see who can do the most first, and they was kind of creating patents and stuff like that. They just had a whole little thing going on. But it was a cool, good movie to me. It was a good movie to me because I'm a history buff. I like history. So anything that kind of involves history get my attention. So the reason why Pittsburgh kind of related to me when she said it, and it kind of caught my attention because Westinghouse in that movie was from Pittsburgh. And he was doing a lot of work out of his house. And when I was watching that movie, I was like, damn, I wonder if his house still up there, if it's still intact. It's probably a museum. I want to go to Pittsburgh and see the site that his house was at. You know what I'm saying? That his house was. Oh, I wanted to go see his house. So that was just kind of in my head. So when I met her, she said Pittsburgh. I'm like, oh, Pittsburgh. I'm like, oh, matter of fact.
And that was something that kind of attracted me, like made me pay more attention to him. Is because when I said I'm from Pittsburgh, and he was like, oh, I know about Pittsburgh. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, right, everybody know about Pittsburgh. Everybody know about the Steelers, and they gonna say something like, "Oh, I got a cousin I live out there," or something real basic. So I was just like, "Oh yeah, okay." Like what you know about Pittsburgh? Because I thought he was gonna say some bullshit like the Steelers, or oh y'all got the Three Rivers Stadium, which they ain't even got no more. But I thought he was gonna say something stupid, or not stupid, but just. Stupid.
Something genetic that you heard.
Yeah, like just something real basic. Like it's just like everybody know about the Steelers, or everybody know about I don't know. I don't even know what else to say because it's always the Steelers. Like, oh yeah, the Steelers, or they got a cousin or a family. My auntie live out there. Oh, I drove through Pittsburgh before. Like, right? Yeah, you drove through Pittsburgh. Great. So I thought he was gonna hit me with something stupid, but he didn't. He actually. And I know of Westinghouse simply because when I was growing up out there, they had like a whole warehouse about Westinghouse. And I had a TV, like a little 19-inch box with a little wood paneling on the side, television in my bedroom that was Westinghouse. And I just kind of connected those two, like, oh, they have a building that we ride past all the time that says Westinghouse. I have this TV, and it really just made me interested and curious about who Westinghouse was, how they got a building and a TV. Like, what is it that they're doing here? So, but you don't ever hear anything about Westinghouse. People don't know about Westinghouse. I knew about it because if it wasn't for the TV, I wouldn't have known about Westinghouse either, and he would have been saying something that would have went straight over my head. But I was aware of Westinghouse, so when he brought it up, I thought that was really interesting. Carnegie. People mention Carnegie as well.
Right.
That's another thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, Pittsburgh, Carnegie, and I'm like, yeah, good.
Yeah,
very nice.
I mean, I ain't know Carnegie from up there till you told me. But that's what I ran in with, not purposely, but when she said Pittsburgh, that was my first thought. I was like, Pittsburgh. I was like, because I couldn't think of the name right off the top. I was like, such and such from up there. I want to go up there because, and then like it took me a couple seconds to remember. I was like, Westinghouse from up there. Westinghouse. I want to go up there and see the site that he lived on, or go see his house or something like that. And she kind of smiled. She stopped and smiled for a minute. And I thought her smile was her smiling like it went over her head. Because I'm like, she ain't going to know what the fuck Westinghouse is. You know what I'm saying? And she smiled. She was like, yeah, Westinghouse is from up there, da-da-da. But I will say no one heard how I know her now. Because she's very smart. You know what I'm saying? She's very, very smart. But I ain't know that then. I ain't know. You know what I'm saying? So she was smiling more so not because, it flew over her head like I thought it probably would. She was smiling because she was surprised that I brought that name up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I brought up a name that nobody else probably would have brought up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing generic. So it kind of caught her off guard. And she told me that when we first really started talking. That's why she smiled. But I still almost didn't buy it for a while. But knowing her how I know her now, that's absolutely why she smiled the way she did. was because I think she was kind of impressed. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Because my experience with DC people, and I'm saying this, I'm not trying to talk bad about y'all DC people, but my experience with DC people, with DC guys in Felicity, they don't introduce themselves with a real name. They got some crazy ass name, like, oh, you know, like, yeah, what's up? You know, like, you look cute. Can I get? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Rhea. What's your name? And they're like, yeah, they call me Romy Rome. Is that your real name? What's your real name? It's like, oh, and then all of a sudden it's like I didn't ask for their social security number or something. They, you know, like, oh no, I don't give out my government name. Well, why don't you give out your government name? The police gonna come in here after you or something? Like, what's happening here? Or and then they just don't have the people. And a matter of fact, I'm basing this all on Felicity. Let's just say that. I'm basing this all on the interactions that I've had in Felicity. They don't want to give out no real name, and they're not offering up good conversations. So if they sit there and say something like, oh yeah, I know about Pittsburgh. That's where y'all got that team. Or that's where Wiz Khalifa's from. Black and yellow, black and... Like, that's what I would get from it. I would get, like, mainstream... common knowledge. I wouldn't receive anything that was so, because Westinghouse, like, even people that live out there isn't even really aware of Westinghouse.
Yeah. So all in all, you know, we was having conversation and trying to find out she's actually from Aliquippa. I knew about Aliquippa because Aliquippa is 30 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, just
But Pittsburgh is the major city. But I knew about Aliquippa because I know about all the sports players and stuff that came from there. It's a big deal in the sports world. That little town is a big deal in the sports world because it produced a lot of athletes and big time athletes too, like Hall of Famers and stuff like that. From, I heard about, like Tony Dorsett, Ty Law, we were just talking about him today, Darrell Reeves, and I ended up learning Mike Dicker from up that way.
He's from Swickley, which is like 10 minutes away. No, not Mike Dicker. What's the other one's name?
Who?
I want to say
Joe Namath.
Yes.
Joe Namath.
Yeah, because I keep wanting to say John Madden.
Joe Namath.
Okay.
Joe Namath, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Namath. But they just a little town produced some like heavy hitters in sports. So I kind of was aware of that town when she told me she was from actually that town. But all in all, by the time our conversation ended, she was so cool and real inviting and stuff. That's when I decided to really look at her. I kind of, after our conversation, I was like, she started kind of growing on me and make me feel some type of way during the conversation. That's when I stopped to look at her and was like, let me see what she looked like. Because I'm just talking to her, but I'm not sizing her up because that wasn't my mind. And then I will say, like she say, the way she was dressed too, she wasn't dressed like all other girls in the club. It's a club, so you got girls half naked in there, especially up in that joint. The girls that work in there half naked. Yeah. Then you got the girls that come in there, they half naked. It's a Saturday night, it's a club.
If they fully dressed, they got everything is see-through, so you can see everything. You couldn't see anything but my neck and my ankles and my arms.
Yeah, so
that was it.
So she wasn't really, like if you go to a club, she didn't really stand out in a club, because when you going out to a club, everybody half naked. That's the people that's gonna really kind of catch your attention for the most part, is the half naked girls and stuff like that. People dressed scantily clad, But she was dressed like regular, like, what I'm saying? She just had a regular little outfit on, like it wasn't no club outfit. So, I didn't even notice her or see her in the club when we was in there. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, also I wasn't really looking for anybody either. But I ain't really noticed her, and she said she ain't noticed me in there either until we actually bumped into each other and had a conversation. Mm-hmm. But like I say, that's when I looked at her and I was like, you're attractive. And then she was like, thank you. And I was like, you should let me take you out. You know what I'm saying? That's when she gave me the spiel that she said she gave me.
And that's when all my friendliness went away.
Yeah, her whole mood changed. Like, she was real cool. I will say that. She was real, real cool when we was just having a regular, friendly conversation. She was real, just regular, you know what I'm saying? But once I bust the move, that's when she went into a different mode. Like, oh, we going from being cordial to...
Like, now you actually want something.
Yeah, like, you want to go somewhere? You want to hang out with me? Or, like, a date? Like, all right, now let me, like, She went to a whole different mode. And that's when she sized me up, you know what I'm saying, asking me all these questions. You know what I'm saying, are you married and this and that, X, Y, Z, da, da, da. But eventually, we exchanged information, and then, you know, we eventually, you know, we was conversing and communicating.
He thought I was crazy, y'all.
Yeah, at first I thought she was crazy.
He was going around telling people I was crazy.
Yeah, the way that she would text, because we was texting all the time at first. And the way she was texting me, it was like I wasn't used to it. I never seen nobody text like this. She'd text and ask me like 5 questions in one text. How you doing today? What you do today? Where you going? What you do last night? How was it? Like all in one text. And I'm like, hold on. And she would do this a lot. She would just ask like a bunch of questions in one text message. Said, you know, most people would probably ask one question, wait for the person to respond. She'd ask like 5 questions in one text message. I was like, the fuck? I thought she was crazy. I was like, this motherfucker is crazy. She was just doing that a lot. I'm like, and then like when them text messages would come through, I'd just be looking at them, reading them. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
But
I don't even know how to respond to this.
But I'm going to say this, though, because I thought about this. I thought about why I was doing that. And when I look back on it now, I think it was because, one, a lot of these guys out here, they don't know how to have conversation. They don't know how to have conversation. It's almost like you got to baby step them through it. Hi, how was your day? Good. Well, what did you do? Tell me about it. So to avoid all of that,
that's true.
I'm just like, all right, how was your day? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Just, you know, getting real specific. So when you respond, it can just be more than just a.
I will say that definitely worked, because I was one of those people that text like that. You ask me, hey, how was your day? I'd be like, good. Just try to get, because.
And not moving a conversation.
Yeah, not really moving it, because I don't know. It's kind of, I think it's like a cultural thing, like a DC thing. I don't know if it's necessarily a DC thing, but you know, when you're from certain type of cultures, we just move kind of different. You don't want to give too much information. Then at the same time, you're not sure if the person want to hear all this. Do they even though a person might ask you how your day was, do they really want to know details? Like, people funny like that, and we kind of. That's the way I kind of came up. So I'm trying to, you know, I would, if she didn't text me crazy like she did, and you know, asking specific questions, I would have fell in that category of the guys or whoever that she's used to that give those regular old basic ass generic ass answers. You know what I'm saying?
And we wouldn't have been here today.
Yeah. Now I think if we,
I almost stopped talking to him anyway. We almost was not here today. We almost was not. Because he was kind of playing me out a little bit. And I was like, this nigga must not. Yeah. He don't remember me. It's been too many days. Honestly, though, but when we when we look back on it, we thought it was at least 2 weeks before we ended up going out. But when I actually looked at the time frame, it was about 5 days. Yeah,
from when we met to when we actually, you know, met up in person again and went out. Yeah.
So he was talking shit about me real quick.
Yeah,
real quick, he was talking about me.
I didn't think she was going to be around, because the way she was texting me and stuff like that, and I'm telling my friends and shit, I'm like, man, this girl is crazy. I don't think she's going to last too long. Like, she is just, the way she was just kind of
He like crazy.
Maneuvering. To a certain extent, I do like crazy. But that was a different type of crazy. That was like a lunatic crazy. I'm thinking like something like, what the fuck? Why she texting me like this? But, early on, for the long story short, for the most part, we'll just talk about probably different aspects and details of our relationship as time go on, if we just think of something or a story. But she ended up growing on me because she was like real genuine, and you can tell she was real. She a big reason why we're here today, for sure, because of her communication skills. She's a great communicator, and she makes it comfortable for you to open up, because she makes herself vulnerable in conversation. That's how she did with me. I can't speak for everybody else, but with me, I realized she kind of made herself kind of vulnerable early. Like, she ain't really try to hide nothing, you know, and that made it easy for me. Like, okay, because I would rather be, I'm that type of way. If you get in my world, you know what I'm saying, for sure, I'm a lot more open But she kind of came in like that, nothing to hide. She just came in being herself. And that's one of the things I say to this day. The person I met is still the person that I'm with. She's still the same person. You know what I'm saying? And so, that kind of pulled me out of my shell real quick with her. And we just had like a genuine relationship from jump, And I picked up on it. So when we started talking verbally on the phone and got out of the text message and stuff, and then we actually met up and went out on a date, and we had our first date was real good.
Our first date was when we went to go see Bill Bellamy.
Well, yeah. Well, because we went to Bus Boys when we first met up in person outside of the club. We went to Bus Boys.
Our friend hangout.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a date. They was like us hanging out, kicking it.
I didn't think he was trying to date me. I just thought he was a nice person. I was meeting a lot of dudes, meeting a lot of guys, had gone out on a whole bunch of dates, and I didn't like nobody. They was fine, but everybody just had something with them. And so he was the first person that I met that I was really just kind of like, I like him. He could be my friend. Like, we can be friends.
Yeah, so.
Like, I like him. We can hang out. Like, because he was just real cool. And we could have real conversation, and we can talk about different topics, and everything wasn't flipped on his head. Like, oh yeah, like we could have a real conversation about stuff, and he wasn't trying to turn it into us having sex. We could just have a conversation. We could have a conversation about sex and it not be about us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just normal, cool conversation, and I really, really appreciated that because, like, it's just nice being able to have a guy that you can have just a real conversation with, and they're not always trying to turn it into something else.
Yeah, something else.
And he was doing that, and I was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna be friends. I like him. We're gonna be friends. He's cool. He's taller than me. He likes stuff. Like he's knowledgeable. I enjoy watching documentaries. So I was just kind of like we have a lot of our interests aligned.
Yeah.
And I was seeing that early. And then I was just kind of like, I like him, like he's cool. And it takes me a while to even decide that I like people. And I kind of knew early on that I liked him as a person. I liked him as a person. And that was really where I was like, when we were going through our little mess, when we were like talking, but it was almost like I felt like he was trying to play me a little bit. Like he wasn't really trying to talk to me.
Yeah, I wasn't that interested.
And I was just like, okay, well, he don't know who he dealing with, so we need to meet up and go out and see each other face to face. He needs a little reminder before I cut him off, because I'll cut somebody off fast. So I was just like, we need to meet up before I just block him.
Yeah.
So, and then we ended up meeting up at Bus Boys.
Yeah, we met up at Bus Boys on 14th Street. And I will say it was a pleasant surprise when I saw her again, because she looked even better the second time than she did when I met her in the club. So when I saw her for the first time since the club, she looked a lot better than I thought. I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? And the more that I saw her that day, and we moving around, and I'm watching her walk and the way she looked, and she was real cool. I was like, dang, she way better than I thought. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, she was better than I thought. That's always a good surprise when you meet somebody, and then you meet them again, and they just get better and better each time. And that's how it was, where she just got better and better each time as a person, and look-wise, like, oh, this is just who she is. She just a looker. She looked good. But all in all, that kind of led us to here. There's a lot of in-betweens that we'll touch on as time goes. Unless you got some,
No, we'll talk about stuff. We're going to talk about everything, not just us, but we'll talk about interesting stuff that's going on in the world, opinions about things. We'll do like questions and stuff. So, we think it'll be interesting. Hopefully y'all will be interested in tuning in. We'll talk about our trips, hotels we've been to, what we thought about them, restaurants we've been to, what we thought about them. We do a lot of stuff that he probably hadn't even gotten around to posting yet. I'm not a good social media person. I'll try to be better for this page. But, like we're just gonna kind of. It's like this isn't all about us. It's just about life and experiences and a little bit of us and a little bit of everything else. So, hopefully y'all enjoy what y'all see and y'all want to tune in to more.
Yeah, I want to be before we end this episode. Like I said, I was telling when I first met her, I realized early because I'm the type of I try to do everything. Like I'm trying to do social media. I started a podcast, my own personal podcast. I make clothes, as you see, too creative. Customs. I made this hoodie and all of that, this DC hoodie. But I do that. I got a 360 camera. But one of the things that I'm trying to build or was trying to build was my podcast. And just early on, I talking to her, I was telling her, you can tell them if I'm lying. I would tell her I think you'd be good at podcasting. I would tell her that. But she's not like she said, she's not a social media person. She's not real big on letting a lot of people into her private life and stuff. Like she's just not one of those people, you know what I'm saying? So
I'm open and I'll share, but I don't need everybody knowing my business.
Yeah.
So that's it. But he's gonna work with me. I'm gonna get comfortable, and but this ain't all about us though.
Yeah, this is she's very opinionated. That's one of the things I liked about her, and the things that I thought about her that made me think or feel like she'd be good at this podcasting thing is that she's very opinionated. She's funny too to me. Just being funny without trying to be funny. I be cracking up at her. She got one of those serious, them serious people that just say like she gonna probably be an old grandma, just saying whatever anything out of her mouth, and you have everybody cracking up like, did she just say that? She kind of like one of those people, but she's very opinionated, very intelligent. And her content, like she can tell a story, or she has lots of stories that I hope she tell a lot of, especially a lot of date stories and stuff like that. I love hearing her date stories.
Because they crazy.
I like hearing date stories, period. But she has a lot of them, so, maybe here and there she might be like, I want to tell this story, whatever. She's a very great communicator. She's going to be really good at this. I've been doing it for a minute. People was telling me that I should do a podcast before I started one. So I started one because people would tell me when I do 24-hour stories, they'd be like, man, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. I figured out how to do one. So I just think the combination of us both is going to be like it's going to be big, because then you get a woman's opinion on some topics, because I be giving my opinion on stuff. It's coming from a male point of view. She's very opinionated and knowledgeable, and she's very rational and stuff like that.
We got to wrap it up, baby.
Yeah, it's time to wrap it up because we got to go.
Please try again.
Shut up, Siri. But the name of the podcast is Quip N Cap.
Quip N Cap.
Quip is for Aliquippa because she's from Aliquippa. Cap is for DC, the nation's capital. Quip and Cap, so it's going to be more to come.
Yep.
So stay tuned.
We hope you
enjoy it. Out.
I don't know how to turn it on.
Things such as like